UFC 326 in Las Vegas this week, Saturday. I've been waiting for this fight card all month, really. I feel like this fight card been slept on. This is my first ever MMA video. I see a lot of people covering the sport. They don't really know what they're talking about, so I'm gonna step in the game. Make sure you like and subscribe. But let's get right into it. I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm gonna make sure that when you guys give your money to Vegas, you actually get it back. I see a lot of y'all losing y'all money on these bad bets. I'm gonna show y'all how to bet too. Let's get right into it. Starting with the main card, we got Drew Dober going up against Michael Johnson. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this fight is really slept on. We got Michael Johnson. He's been on a heater lately. He's on the 3-fight win streak, knocking dudes out. Legend in the game. We got Drew Dober, Mr. Crimson Chin. We already know it's going to be a good fight because, one, it's going to be hard to knock Drew Dober out with that big-ass chin. So it's going to be close. It's going to be competitive. Drew Dober is a little bit more explosive. He's the shorter fighter. He doesn't have the reach that Michael Johnson have. We're talking about 70 inches versus 73.5. And he tends to try to end fights as quick as possible. So I know he's gonna come out swinging the first round. He's gonna exhaust a lot of energy, but I think, you know, it will be a pretty good game plan to try to get the knockout early, try to get out of here and go turn up in Vegas. On the other side, like I said about Michael Johnson, he's been on a run lately. Won his last 3 fights. Again, legend. He's been around the game for a minute. Fought Khabib. I feel like the OG is still slept on. Obviously, he got the reach advantage, 73.5. He got the height advantage as well. So I think the game plan for him is going to be try to keep the reach, keep the distance, use your leg kicks. You're going to have that advantage of having the reach. So you're going to be able to use the leg kicks to neutralize Drew Dober, keep him at bay, keep him at distance. Michael Johnson got knockout power too. So one punch could end the fight. So either way, I feel like we're going to see a knockout tomorrow night. And I think it's going to end early. I think both guys are going to come in with the agenda to get the job done in the first round. Again, Drew Dober, I think he got a little bit more power. He's a little bit more explosive. Michael Johnson, he got to reach the length. You know, these guys both been in the UFC for a good minute now, but Michael Johnson got a little bit of the experience on his hands. But, you know, these guys relatively been in the same amount of fights throughout their career. So they both know how to fight. They both know how to throw down. And it's going to be hard as hell to knock out Drew Dober, bro. Like I said, that big chin, bro. You're going to have to really put it on him to get him out of here. So based off of that, I'm actually going with Michael Johnson to win in the second round via knockout. I think he's going to be able to withstand the first round. He's going to be able to neutralize him with his distance. And I think during the second round, you know, Drew Dober, he carrying a lot of muscle. So I think he's going to get fatigued. And Michael Johnson's going to knock him out. Now listen to what I'm telling you. Make sure you open up your prize picks, Kelshi, Polymarket, whatever you use. Make sure you put that parlay in second round knockout. And come back to this video on Sunday. All right, guys. The next fight, we got Rob Font and we got Raul Rojas Jr. El Nino Problema. This is going to be a good fight. Obviously, we got the veteran Rob Font. He damn tough. He got knockout hands in his power. He could really put you to sleep at any point of the fight. And then we got Raul Rojas Jr. I mean, young gun. Came into UFC at like, what, 18, 19, 20. Came into the league early. And honestly, he's been on the run. He won his last 4 fights. He's been, you know, doing pretty good. After that loss to Rodriguez, he's slowly been building himself back up. Last fight for Morales, he won that via unanimous decision. So he's been on the heater right now. Again, he's young, 11-1. But, you know, he's working his way in the game. I don't really think the UFC needs to try to fast-pace him right now. Just continue to build up his record. I'm not saying that like they're giving him easy fights, but, you know, don't throw him in the deep end just yet. Continue to build him up. He's young. Get his confidence, get his skills up. And I think in a couple of years, he'll be ready for the big leagues for sure. He'll be ready to knock on the door to top 5, top 10. If he stays consistent. Now, Rob Font, he's been a little bit more up and down. He did lose his last fight to Martinez. He won the fight before that, but he's been up and down. He's been fighting really good dudes. Some of the dudes he lost to, they're no joke. You know, he lost to Figueiredo. He lost to Corey Sandhagen. He beat Yanez, so, you know, he's not fighting slouches at all. He's fighting tough dudes, so it's been a bit of an up and down ride. But like I said, knockout power in his hands. He can put you to sleep at any time, really at any point in the fight. He's tough, he's durable, and he can take punishment too. So I know he could definitely last and go all 3 rounds. I really think this fight just comes down to who's able to really enforce their will. It's going to be a striker versus grappler matchup, so it's really going to be about who can put that pressure on the opponent. I think Rob Font, he's good. He does have the advantage as far as the reach. 71.5 compared to 67, so that's going to be a big advantage. Rosas, I mean, like Drew Dober, he got a big ass chin too, bro. So I don't think it's going to be easy to put him to sleep. He got really good grappling. He doesn't have to reach. He does have an inch advantage in height, but you know, when we're talking about the UFC, an inch or two, it really doesn't even matter, especially in bantamweight. I think I'm a little bit conflicted on this fight because you got the young gun who's on fire right now, and then you got the vet who's up and down, but he's been in them wars. You know, he's been against some of the best in bantamweight. Rosas got the momentum. Falls got the experience. It's going to be a very close fight, but I am going to go with Raul Rosas Jr. I think he's going to do a better job of implementing his will. I think he's going to be able to take Ralphon to the ground, hold him there for at least 2 rounds, and then I think he'll be able to survive a round or 2. So I got Rosas winning, man. Unanimous decision. Again, open up your PrizePicks app and put in your parlay. You're going to win a lot of money doing business with me. We're going to go with the youth over the experience this time. And then we got the co-main event. We got Caio Barajo versus Reiner de Ridder. I've been looking forward to this fight, and honestly, I felt like it should have been the last fight for both of these dudes. Both of them lost their last fights. Barajo lost to Nasruddin, and de Ridder lost to Brendan Allen, so they both lost. Reiner de Ridder did get finished in this last fight. That is the key difference. You got Caio Barajo repping the Fighter Nerds. I mean, they were absolutely on fire. Late 2024 going to 2025, you got him, you got Prates, you got John Silva. You know, so he's coming from a really good camp. 17-2. Ever since he's been in the UFC, he's been, you know, doing his thing. A lot of decisions, but, you know, he's a tough guy that comes from a tough camp. Got a bit of a grappling background. Decent with the hands as well. So, you know, he's a formidable opponent. Before he lost to Marvov, he did fight Jared Cannonier and took him to decision. That was a pretty good fight. Cannonier is still pushing. I don't know how. He's like 42. And then he did finish Paul Craig as well. So, again, like I said, formidable opponent. In the case of Reiner de Ridder, I mean, the last fight he got finished by Brendan Allen. He got a bit of an interesting background. He came over from 1. He's been making some waves in the UFC. He fought and knocked out Bo Nickel. I remember that fight vividly. So right away, he came in the UFC. He's telling these motherfuckers, hey, I'm not playing around here, bro. And then after that fight, he came back, and then he won versus Robert Whittaker. You know, split decision, but hey, everyone took off their glasses. They're like, oh, hey, Reiner de Ridder not playing around. At this point, Robert Whittaker is like the gatekeeper of the middleweight division. So if you feel like you a champion, if you feel like you're good, you got to go through Robert Whittaker, and then he'll be the test. He passed the test, so you got to give him respect for that, for being very formidable. But the problem is, he's coming off of a knockout. Brendan Allen put him on him last fight. So we got to see how he's holding up after a loss. But not just a loss, a devastating loss. I honestly think these guys should have fought already. The last time they both fought, I thought they should have matched up against each other. I'm not sure what the matchmakers were thinking as far as, you know, these two going forward in particular, but I thought this should have been the last matchup. It's going to be close. Again, Barajo 17-2, you know, just very solid all around. He's just a very solid athlete, solid with the hands, really good grappling. He's just solid all around. So you know he's going to be able to show up to the fight and be dependable. And he's durable as well. You're another one of these dudes with these big ass chins, bro. And my theory is, bro, if your opponent has a big chin, bro, you got to put him to sleep, bro. You got to really try to knock him out. So it's going to be tough. De Ridder's 21-3. Again, a lot of these fights did not happen in the UFC. They happened in other promotions, but I feel like he's shown himself to be a little bit formidable. I mean, if you beat Robert Whittaker, that's no joke. So again, you passed the test. 6'4" versus 6'1", so De Ridder's gonna have that reach advantage. Barajo's a little bit more brolic, so I think they match up pretty well. If I was De Ridder's coach, I'd be telling him to go for the submission and go for the submission pretty early. I believe this is a 5-round fight. You got the reach advantage, you got the long limbs, so I'm gonna try to pressure Barajo, try to put him in a compromised position to where I can get him on the ground, try to get an armbar, potentially try to get a heel hook. If I was his coach, I'll tell him to use his length and use the experience that he has grappling, because he's a really good grappler. Now, I don't think Barajo is that big of a threat with the hands in comparison to other people in the middleweight division, but still, I wouldn't want to play the game of trying to stand on the feet. I'll try to force my will and take this fight on the ground. No, for Barajo, I think he has to weather the storm. I could definitely see a world where it ends up going to decision, and it's really about who can withstand the damage at the end of all 5 rounds. So I think the game plan for Barajo really has to be to stay the course, stick to the game plan, stick to the jabs, be prepared to fight against the cage, being that De Ridder's a taller fighter. Utilize your leg kicks and really try to chop him down. You know, he's tall, he's a tree, so utilize those leg kicks and those jabs to systematically chop him down and do your absolute best to, you know, keep it on the feet. I know Barallo can grapple, and really grappling is his best skill set, but I think it'll be in his best interest to keep it on the feet and really drag the fight out and try to fatigue the Ritter. So this is gonna be the close fight tonight, but I'm gonna make y'all money, and I'm gonna let you guys know now that Caio Barallo is gonna win in decision. I think Barallo is gonna be able to withstand all 5 rounds as long as he's able to stay off of the cage and stay on his feet, because the Ritter is damn dangerous if he's able to get you on the ground. So if Barallo is able to keep on the feet, which I believe in this case he will, and the Ritter coming off that loss to Brendan Allen, I got Barallo. Some people might say that's a surprise pick of the card, but I'm going with Caio Barallo to win in decision. For the main event, and I'm hyped, we got Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. This is a crazy main event. For some reason, I feel like this card is slept on, bro. Are y'all not messing with this card, man? Or y'all waiting for the White House card? Because this is a great main event. You got Max Holloway. Obviously, he's blessed. Coming off a big win versus Dustin Poirier, you know. Sent Dustin Poirier to retirement with a loss, unfortunately for Dustin. But that was an absolute good fight. That was the rematch, and really Max dominated that fight from start to finish. She put it on him. Reigning BMF champion, an absolute dog. Coming up from featherweight, really adapting to lightweight, you know, phenomenally. You know, last fight was a phenomenal performance versus Dustin. The fight before that, he did get knocked out, but, you know, that was at featherweight to Ilia Topuria, who is the best boxer ever to face the UFC. And if you have anything to say about that, I don't know what you guys are watching. Ilia's a demon. So that's no slight. The fight before that, he won the BMF title against Justin Gaethje. So again, adapting to lightweight quite phenomenally. Legend in the game. Max Holloway only loses to the absolute best, so he's a dog. On the other side, we got Bronx Oliveira, absolute legend. Most submissions in UFC history. He nice with the hands too. He's a dog. He's willing to stand in the pocket. Oliveira's willing to get knocked out. He's willing to give some to take some. So just based off of that, it's going to be an absolute fight. The fight before that, he also got knocked out by Ilia Topuria. So Ilia's going around knocking out all the legends. Ilia's probably going to end up top 5, top 3 all time when it's all said and done. I don't see him losing to anybody. But again, that's no slight. Before Topuria, he had that crazy ass fight against Mike Chandler. That was crazy. That went to decision. Entertaining. And before the Mike Chandler fight, he lost to Arman Sarukian via split decision. I thought Oliveira won that fight. That was very close. And honestly, Hunter, Dana, UFC brass, y'all need to run that fight back, bro. If you're not going to give Arman the title shot, make that the #1 contender fight again, bro. I love to see that fight again. Charles is an absolute legend. Former lightweight champion. He probably had the best, definitely the most entertaining run out of all the lightweights in lightweight history. Just the way he won the championship. Lost it, missed weight, came back, won it again. Lost it to Islam. His whole run was phenomenal. Yeah, when Oliveira was the lightweight champion, the UFC was hitting, man. The UFC was on a different level. So this is an absolute big fight. Max is 27-8. Oliveira's 36-11. Both of these guys are absolute dogs. Former champions in their respective weight class in their respective right. Max is 5'11". Oliveira's 5'10". Oliveira got the reach advantage, 74 inches compared to 69 inches. Some of y'all may not recall, these guys already fought before back in the day. If y'all don't remember, these two already fought way back in the day. And it ended weird because Charles, I don't know if he had a shoulder injury. I don't know if he quit. I don't want to say he quit, bro. If you're willing to step in that ring, I don't think you're going to be scared and quit. But Charles didn't finish the fight, and Max ended up winning that fight. So this is actually Max Charles part 2. And I think both of these guys have grown a lot since that first fight. They both have went on and dominated their weight class. As far as the physical advantage, I don't really see one. Both of these dudes came up from featherweight, now fighting at lightweight. I don't think there's going to be much of a size difference. They're going to come in the ring weighing relatively the same after the cut. You got Max Holloway, who moved up in the weight class. Now he can actually sit on his punches and put real knockout power behind his punches. And you got that going up against Charles Oliveira, who, the thing that makes me nervous about this fight is that Charles Oliveira is always willing to stand in that pocket. And Max Holloway, I mean, y'all saw what happened with Justin Gaethje. He's more than willing to stand in the pocket. So I think the game plan for Max Holloway is to try to bait Charles Oliveira into a chaotic fight. Try to make it messy, try to get on the inside, and really try to bait Oliveira into throwing hands the whole night. We all know Oliveira's a threat with a submission. If he gets you on the ground, if he gets you anywhere around the cage and he's able to pull and jump on your back, it's a big problem, and he has a chance of really putting you to sleep. Charles Oliveira is also nice with the hands too. His hooks are very crisp. He'll sit you down with a jab now. He'll sit you down with a jab. So it's going to be a hell of a fight. I think the game plan for Oliveira has to be to play it smart and really try to submit Max Holloway. Try to get him on the ground. Try to put him in a compromised position against the cage. Either jump on his back or try to grab a leg and potentially go for a heel hook. Oliveira got 22 submissions, so he has a multitude of ways to get that submission off. But I think it'll be in a strategic advantage to try to win via submission. But what I do know is that I don't think that's going to happen at all. Charles Oliveira, he's an entertainer. Max Holloway, he cares about entertainment. So I think these dudes are going to be willing to stand in the middle and throw hands. I'm not sure if this is just a contender fight or for the BMF championship, but either way, it's going to be a hell of a fight. Honestly, this is a real contender for fight of the year. We're going to see something spectacular. Really just factoring everything in, watching all of the embeddeds, watching the face-off, getting the feel for how this fight is going to go. This is going to be a surprise, but I'm going with Charles Oliveira to pull out the victory via finish. I'm not sure if it's going to be a submission. I'm not sure if it's going to be with the hands. But again, I think there's going to be a sequence in this fight where they stand in the middle and these guys get into a firefight, essentially a bar fight, a swing fest. Not a swinger fest, some of y'all too freaky, but a swing fest. I believe somewhere down the fight, there's going to be a big sequence of chaos. And I actually believe Oliveira is going to be the one to come out on top and actually pull it out. Whether that's via knockout or via submission, I believe he's going to be able to fight off the war of attrition. The thing that makes me a little bit nervous is that we've seen Oliveira in the firefight against Topuria. That didn't go well. We've seen it against Islam. That didn't go well. So I wonder, is Oliveira going to default to standing in the pocket, or is he going to try to bop and weave and counter off of that? I'm going to put my money in back on him countering off of that and getting a submission. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about this card, man. Again, this is my first ever MMA video. I love the sport. Y'all make sure to drop a like, a comment. Y'all make sure to subscribe. We're going to start covering every fight card. So we're about to be locked in. If you want to get a different perspective on MMA and you actually want to win when you guys bet on Prize Picks on Kalshi, y'all know where to find me, man. Make sure to subscribe.